Hello everybody, it's me again, back with another video, and welcome to the Signal Box today. A big shout out to my regular subscribers and viewers, and hope you're all well, and we'll crack on with today's video. So, let's take the camera over and have a look at this new Hornby footbridge. There she is, or there it is, on my station over there. And what I've done, I've just simply drilled and fitted some spare platform lamps, one either side of the staircase on that footbridge, to make that look a little bit more unique. And you remember when I said the other day on the video that when I normally get something, I normally sort of customise it and make it a little bit more unique, so it's not the same as someone else's. Well, I think that sort of stands out for itself. I think what a great idea. Very simple to do. You just simply drill the holes, obviously, with the right size drill bit, and then fit your lamps either side where they're going to go, simply glue them in place. And the wiring I've hidden underneath the actual footbridge deck underneath. It's really hard to get in with the camera because it's hard to get over there for a start, and secondly you can't see the wiring because I've hidden it way underneath. You can just about maybe make out a little bit of wire there, but it's actually well tucked up underneath the footbridge deck there, so you'll never see it with the human eye unless you pick the thing up, which you can't because I've super glued it to the platform. It's fixed in place, but you can't see it mostly for the best part. The only bit you can see is that cable running down one of the support columns there, the red and white cable there. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some black paint and just paint over that to help disguise it a bit better. But unfortunately that's that, but it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it illuminates up is the main thing. It lights up, which is what I wanted it to do, and I think it's an excellent addition to those platforms there. It really does finish that off, doesn't it? And this is actually the same tooling but a different manufactured footbridge. When I say manufactured, I've mentioned this before, but I think I mentioned it in the comment section of the last video I did on this the other day. But this, it's not a new product from Hornby. It's been out quite a long time, quite a couple of decades. This Hornby green footbridge has been out, but they've improved the design in terms of material. This plasticky, rubbery, very tough plastic material they use for it, they've changed it slightly, so it's much more stiffer. Whereas the other stuff, it was like a lighter green in colour, and it was really flimsy and it was so hard to glue. Whereas this just fits nicely in place with a bit of friction fit. It doesn't require any glue. I have used a very tiny little bit of super glue on some of the corners there, but not much, just to tidy it up so it all stays nice and tight. But even without glue, it will stay together very well. It's a very nice little product, and it's nice to see Hornby finally have got it right with the material they use and the design, because it's much more stiffer. Like I said, the older footbridge that came out in the sort of 1980s, 90s as well, it was like a lighter green in colour, and it was really, really flimsy. And it just would not stick to the plastic pegs that go in the holes very well. But this thing goes together quite nicely, and I've got the ironwork brackets on top of the footbridge there, all four of them in place, because normally they break off or you lose them, so they were quite a joy to fit, and I'm really happy with that structure. So yeah, anyway, should we get some trains running? Oh, by the way, before we run some trains, just the things that you might notice, again for continuity purposes, if you flick back and look at my previous videos, you'll notice obviously there's no footbridge there, this one, and also you'll notice the signals have moved slightly from the platform down to the ground. They're little ground signals there, little starters. I've put them there. Now they're temporarily going to be there, and I say temporarily because there's an ambitious project that I'm going to undertake on my railway. It may take the next couple of months to do, it might take maybe next year, but I'm going to, bit by bit, I'm going to re-signal my model railway. I'm going to purchase some 00 scale Daypole ready-made motorised and LED semaphore signals, the ones that come with the servo built into it and the LEDs built into the spectacle plates. and you just basically get the servo unit and 2 separate switches, and you sort out your own power source, which is a 12-volt smooth DC supply. That's not a problem at all. So I've sourced all the parts I need, and one by one I'm going to get some starter signals that will move and light up with the help of a control box. I'm also going to re-signal and do that junction signals in its last few months of operation. That's going to be going soon, be replaced by a nice Daypol junction bracket signal, and that one there by the box is going to be going, and that one down the end, the distant junction, is going to be going as well, and probably will do the little starter signal from the bay platform there, and the one over there will be going as well. So there's quite a few signals. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's about 7 signals I need to do. Now I can't do that in one hit because it's rather expensive, but I can do it bit by bit. And I think before we get on with some trains today, I think I'll just reiterate a point in our hobby, that whether you've got a big massive layout in your loft or in your house, or you've got a small layout like this, it's always nice to do things sometimes bit by bit. It's more rewarding. It mentally rewards you when you do something in stages and it finally gets done, and it's just enjoyable as you go along on the journey. You can go out and get everything in one hit if you've got the cash, you know, that's great, but not always, because you end up doing it and it's all put together rather hastily, or there's an idea and logic that you have to get everything done because you've got all the materials available, therefore you have to knock it all out and get it done quickly. Whereas if you do it in stages, it's like you can only go so far with each stage, and it just progresses, a bit like the real railway, because a resignaling job from A to B never gets done overnight. It's over a period of weeks and months, especially if it's a big resig job. I remember when they did the resignaling on the GE, on the Great Eastern, in the roundabout sort of 2000 onwards. I mean, it really took a while for them to do everything, and like a railway, it takes time and patience. So I'm going to start, you might see a brand new signal here and there pop up as we go forward in towards Christmas this year, so we might see some changes. But anyway, in the meantime, I just thought I'd fill you in and that you know what's going to be happening in the future. We're doing a resignaling project, which should be exciting, and you guys will be able to see that one by one as they pop up. So how does it all work? Well, basically you drill and fit the signals to the baseboard. They go flush to the baseboard, and underneath there's a servo unit that you hook up underneath where you can't see it, obviously. You run a set of switch wires to wherever you're going to go to, and then you've got an output, which is your 12-volt smooth DC supply. Without getting too technical, there's a PCB board on the market I've seen as a model signal engineering company that produce what's called a smooth 12-volt PCB board output. It's got an output side and also an input side, so when you put your 12-volt supply into it, it then converts that automatically down to a smoother current. And you might say, well, 12 volts, 12 volts, you know, what's the difference between a 12 volt and a smooth version 12 volt? What the servos require between 9 and 12 volts smooth supply. If you introduce it too quickly, what happens is the servos don't respond, and they're not very responsive, and you'll get a rather quick pulse, which you don't really want with servos because you burn them out. And the other thing as well, this little PCB unit, I know I've probably lost half of you so far. What you can do with it, what I've seen, is really good, because I spoke to the chaps at Daypol yesterday via an email, and they said, I showed them a screenshot of what I want, the PCB board, and they said that's a good product, but they recommend that you trim it down to about 9 volts, because the LEDs will give a nice realistic glow behind the spectacle plates, which is great. So yeah, there's some interesting little bit of electronics to play with as the months roll on, and a great little winter project as well. That's what I love about my railway. It only comes out once a week, but when it does come out, there's loads to do on it, believe it or not. It's not just about setting up the layout and putting everything on there and then switching on and running trains for you guys, which appears to be like sometimes 25 minutes to over just under an hour's worth. But it's a lot of hard work that I put in every single week just to do these videos, because everything has to be individually taken off, disconnected, dismantled, put away safely and stored until the next time. So today, this morning, I got up a little bit late because I was tired. And then when I set everything up, there was a lot of things to do, like in terms of maintenance work and little bits to change here and there. And I'll give you an example. So we'd already fitted the footbridge during the week, off camera separately, but then the signals needed to be put back in their respective places. A few things on the platform I needed to put, and also what else did we do? I put a little bit of I'll show you if I just bring it off camera. I found this, no, it's not mint ice cream, but what's inside is definitely green. This came from my old layout, and look at that. I've got a load of Gauge Master 00 scale hedging, and I thought, oh, that's too nice to not use. So if we come over here as a camera, I put a little bit there in between the level crossing and the country farmhouse hotel type thing. I call it a hotel. It looks like a country guest house, doesn't it? Anyway, that lives there. I also did a little bit of scenic work around this section of the canal. I put in some fencing this morning around there, some green iron fencing. It looks like iron, but it's actually wooden. But I put that fencing around there. It makes it look a little bit more less bare. And I've also added a little bit of hedging on the edge there, which I think makes it look good. Quite happy with that. And then what else did I do? Oh yeah, there was a tree that used to live there. I've removed that, or let's just say it removed itself. And I stuck it over here, so it now lives there. So I think that looks better. It looks better there, I think, doesn't it? The old quacks are just about to swim underneath it. So I think that looks better there. Yeah. What else did we do? Oh, the green fence that used to be outside the house, I've ripped that all up and I replaced that with some nice neat hedging. And I think that looks better, doesn't it? That looks much better. I wasn't too happy with that fencing there. It looks a little bit wonky. So I just added that there. I've got to touch up a few little bits of paint spots there, but I think that looks better. Yeah, so that is it in terms of little bits and pieces I've been fiddling around with this morning when I set the layout up. So enough fiddling, let's run some trains. Well, let's run a train, shall we? So let's let Squadron take the lap of honour in today's first train of the day on the video. You can definitely hear it. It's that old X04 motor in that. It's its first time running around my railway since I've repaired it and given it a good clean in all respects, and here she is. Tell you what, ladies and gents, I'm just going to turn my little lamp off on the shelf, give it a little bit of that's better, a little bit of darkness, so we can appreciate the lighting. And over here. That's better. that looks good. Okay, I think I'll take a comfy seat instead of keep standing up all the time. Take the driver's seat, as it were. Anyway, what have we got running around? Aha, look who's back in town. After coming from Doncaster Works being fixed, it's the AJ Hill bug jumper. There it goes. She's back. Pulling a nice little rake at Thompson Coaches behind her. And a Great Eastern Maroon Gresley, ex-Gresley on the back there. Well, it's Gresley Coach, but ex-LNER, now Maroon. Let's go for a wander, shall we? On that Enfield Town service. Oh, it's good to be back. So in the camera break, in the last clip, I've been busy planting some trees. I had a couple left over in the box, and there's one there, but the super box. The cows have got to have a tree and they to graze by, so that tree's the right size in clearance-wise in that space there. Doesn't interfere with the running the train, so that lives there quite happily. And some of the material off the tree that was in the bag, I thought, well, it's quite good scatter material, so I built up a little bit of darker green grass there. The glue is white, it's drying, but that will be dry in about 20 minutes. But I've built up on top of the static grass some further coverage there with some of the dark green stuff that came off those trees. So I thought it's quite coarse in texture, and it'll look good once it's dried there, and build up a nice little mound of darker green on top of that meadow grass, dry grass, and all the different shades of static grass underneath. So I thought that was a nice little idea. I like using things, I don't waste things, you can always find something to use, so I just thought, hey, why not? So that's that area done. So if we come over here, I've added some trees. Let's zoom out a little tiny bit. So we've added another one there, because that was there already. We added one there, and I've also added these two here, these two green trees here. I've added in that shot there, which you noticed in the last shot wasn't there, so I think it looks quite nice. And I think they're the right sort of size as well. Ignore the white glue, it's going to dry in about 25 minutes, but I just think it gives that little area a bit more colour, a bit more depth. So that's all my little green trees all used up. I actually got those in a nice little bundle from Amazon, from China. They're not bad actually, I was quite impressed. They sort of pass quite well. And so sometimes on a model railway you don't always want big bulky trees. You want kind of like little small ones. Different, like in real life obviously trees come in different shapes and sizes and textures. So I think those little mini trees look quite nice there. And meanwhile the mighty little Stratford buck jumper on its way to Enfield Town. There it goes. Beautiful. So we've got the 1959-1962 silver tube stock. This originally was from the Piccadilly line, and then the 59 stock went over to the Central line in about 1961, and because they did so well, London Transport placed another separate order for some more additional trains for the Central line fleet, and they became known as 1962 stock, and they replaced all the trains on the Underground Central line from April 1962 proper to about 1994. I think 95 was the last one on the Central. I did have all the cab equipment out of one of these real ones. If you look through my YouTube videos, sadly, you'll see it, the simulator that I bought, that I got for, well, I had to pay for it to be transported, but I got for pretty much next to nothing off London Underground. And I made myself a train cab out of all the real bits. And sadly, I couldn't take it with me with the house move, so they're now enshrined at the Epping Signal Cabin Museum down at the right eastern end of the Central line. If you go on the Central line in London, if you live in London or can get onto the Underground, catch an eastbound train all the way to Epping, and when you get out at Epping station, you go through the car park, walk up, and there's the Signal Cabin Museum, and my bits and pieces are enshrined on the wall in there, unfortunately, much against my will. But this is what's left, and I've had these quite a few years now, and they run reasonably well. These are the ones that I self-motorised myself with the Radley models motorising kits in the lead car. The EFE ones you can get, the Bachmann EFE rail ones you can get, all they are basically, they've got working lights in them. They work on DC as well as DCC. The motors are a bit better, but what I don't like about them is that their profile height-wise is completely wrong. The bogies sit up way too high, and there's no front coupling, and they just look a little bit weird. They look like they're what's known as accommodation bogies. When they go into the maintenance works, they put them on these temporary bogies to jack them up, and they can move them around the workshop. Well, that's exactly what it looks like. So I don't care for those too much. So I'll stick with my ones that I motorise, where the traction motors and the bogies are properly low slung to the body, and everything looks profile right. I haven't run these for a good while, so it's nice to get them out on the layout today. Good old 62s. These are the trains I grew up with, and when I lived in Claremont Road, which was a little bit like this, you used to come out the front and into the road, and there was a short little fence, and you could see these going backwards and forwards between Leighton and Leytonstone, where I lived. Good trains, very, very good trains. One of the things I was really pleased about when I originally designed this model railway years ago now, and it is years ago, it's getting that way, I wanted to have an island platform in the middle there, but there had to be very small, very narrow island platforms because of the nature of the track layout and obviously passing clearance. So I've sourced these ones that are old Airfix platforms I've got on eBay, and they work really well, especially with the tube stock. As you can see, they look quite realistic. So meanwhile, while that underground train is rattling about, we'll get something else moving in the distance. There comes that buck jumper again. That's a true Great Eastern shot, if ever there was one. Certainly the Central line east of Leyton Station. During the 1950s there was a shared usage of the Central Line, obviously from London Transport, took over the ex-Great Eastern Railway route to Epping. And for a moment in time in the 1950s, the line between Leighton Station all the way up to Epping was shared with London Transport and also British Railway services, steam services from Temple Mills East up to Epping with the local goods and coal trains traffic and also the odd staff train. Now these silver trains didn't appear on the Central Line, let's say, until about 1961. But these buck jumpers were still about in 61 at Stratford, and no doubt they would have puffed their way along the Central Line up to Epping with the coal train. I think we need to get that recreated, what do you reckon? Alright, let's see the next video, shall we? Okay, should we try that again? There we go. Right, we've got a B1 in the platform, ready to go. And that little coal train is still trundling around, that little cheeky buck jumper, doing its thing. Right, we'll get that away, I think. So these are typically Great Eastern machines, and predominantly you would have found them at Stratford, and definitely on the London Liverpool Street mainline services out of Liverpool Street towards Norwich and sort of Ipswich. They would have been on those definitely. But they were found up in Scotland in Alloa. You had some B1s up there, so they did get about quite a bit. Same as the Thompson L1s. They were up in Scotland for a while. But this is traditionally B1s with Stratford engines. There was quite a few of these at Stratford. And like I said, if you went to London Liverpool Street in the 1950s and you went to a mainline station from London Liverpool Street by train, you would have definitely been behind one of these, a B1. Give it the beans a little bit, only a little bit. There's giving it the beans and then there's being silly. That's about right. Scale speed is the essence. There's only one model railway you can get away with running trains at sort of Scalextric's car speed, and that's Hornby 003 rail, because they don't run well very, very slow. The motors are not designed for that, whereas these things are much more modern. And scale speed is the essence to any model railway. I've said it before in past videos, and I'll say it again today. In today's running video, scale speed is the essence. It doesn't matter what size railway you've got, and I'm giving you a little bit of advice for those of you that do the YouTube videos like myself and you've got creator content. If you're not doing it so already, slow your trains down. Slow them down to this is a scale speed of about 65, 75 miles an hour. Say 65-ish, but that's a scale speed. To have this racing round at silly speed it looks not only ridiculous, it doesn't do your loco too much good, even though it's designed to go at top speed. It doesn't like going at top speed for long periods of time, and it just will create unrealistic running. Whereas if you look at how I've got things set up today, that's fast enough for me. Okay, we got the regulator on 55. Okay, well let's bring it up to 60 on track 1, and we'll see. It will go a little bit faster now. The maximum speed, I think, permissible. Yeah, there you go. I think it looks pretty cool with that nice rake of Thompson coaches together with the Gresley coaches on the end there. Yeah, 5's about a nice limit because I've only got a smallish layout, and if I put anything more on there it looks a little bit silly. But this looks good today, I think. Very nice, look at that. Okay, folks, I'm going to have some fun now, I think. As if running a model railway wasn't fun enough. Saturdays are my day of relaxation, and this is how I relax and unwind after quite a busy and stressful week sometimes. So let's make it more fun. Now, I haven't run this because it's still in its box. As you can see, it's got the operating ramps in there. It's got the TPO line side hut, and I think there's a post in there as well. I think I pinched a few bits out of this when I made this layout with the TPO, but it's got the Great Western Railway limited edition night mail coach, which is over in the platform over there, ready to go. And as you can see, she's in mint condition, which means I hardly ever run it, stroke play with it. And she's behind that open cab Great Western pannier, so you know what, let's go and play some trains, why not? Doing up a little bit of speed. That's about a sensible speed, I think. A little bit more. There we go. Right, back over here with the camera. Grab a mailbag or two. That XO4 motor's doing overtime. I've forgotten how fun this was. Yep, that's got that. I think it's got that. I can't see anywhere line side. We'll find out in a minute when it comes round. And there it is. More excitement in a few seconds to make a 10-year-old boy faint. As said, quote unquote, by James May. Well, let's do it all again. I've just forgotten how fun it is to play with this. I've got loads of these mailbags somewhere. I have to dig them out, but you can have hours of fun with this. And you can hear how smooth it is because it hasn't ever been operated, this mail coach. Let's bring it down a bit. There we go. That does look nice behind that open cab Great Western pannier as well. It's a lovely chocolate and cream, typical Great Western colour. Night mail, look at that. Yeah, that's nice. I was going to chuck some Great Western coaches behind that, but I can't be bothered to get them out of the box above my head. I'm just going to leave it like this and just play with this. It's such a satisfying sound as well. That click of that pickup of that mailbag and that clunk of it dropping it out on the receptacle bin on the track side. It's just a lovely vintage sound. You might think I'm going around a twist, but it really is. It's a lovely sound. That one works really well. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Sometimes these TPO coaches you get, and you buy them second hand on eBay, and some of them work okay, some of them are a bit jammed up, and some of them are just completely non-operative. But this one I know I bought from Hatton's brand new, and I've never run it because I've got this one. I've got a Great Western Railway Royal Mail, I've got an LMS Royal Mail, and I've got a British Railways Royal Mail one. So I've got quite a few of these. But my dream one day is to have a much longer layout and have it really on long stretches of track. But at least I've got it on my layout today and I can literally play with it. Have you spotted the tree there that I put next to the level crossing? That little one there, I think it looks quite cute. I mean, a couple of these trees I custom detail. I mean, that one there, I put some blossom on it. That one there, and where is it? I think, where is it? Yeah, that one there I did. This one here I did like a mixture of different colours on that one. Anyway, enough about the blinking trees. It's time to collect some nail. Yeah, look at that. Do you know why? There's another reason why I like this Hornby TPO so much. There's a little bit of a backstory to this TPO. Not this particular one, but the general concept of 00 gauge TPO sets. I'll tell you why. When I was a small boy, I grew up with just me and my mum at home, and I didn't have a train set at the time, I don't think, and there was a local summer fete. Every year at the local hospital they used to run a summer fete, and there was an old boy there. His name was Les Mortley, and he had this big setup, 00 gauge setup. It didn't have an elaborate model railway in terms of ballast or scenery, or it was basically track on the baseboard and that was it. But he had a TPO, and you could stand on a little wooden box and he would give you a tin of mailbags, and I think you could put a mailbag on the hook and watch it being collected by the train. And I just thought that was the most magical thing ever. I couldn't get away from that, and I came away that day thinking, wow, if only I could have something like that for myself. And here it is. That is such a simple mechanism though, isn't it? It really is. That's so enjoyable to operate. Like I said, I've got a big bag, literally, of loads of these. I got a job lot on eBay a while ago of mailbags. How many have I got? Let's see, 1, 2, 3. There's one more to come out. Sometimes they get stuck inside there and they end up getting spat out after about 2 or 3 runs, which is quite realistic actually. No, it's stuck in there. It's definitely stuck in there. Okay, I lied. It's not stuck in there. It's it's there. I forgot to pick it up. Oh, suck him. Suck him. Get it? Suck him. Postal sack? Yeah, never mind. Yeah, and I was a little kid and I stood on this little box thing, and we had a Hornby high-speed train with intercity coaches and an intercity liveried Royal Mail coach, which I've got. And it just fascinated me, this thing whizzing round and picking up this mailbag at high speed. I thought that was so ingenious. Lovely. Such fun. You really don't need anything else, do you? I mean, this is it. I mean, forget DCC and all these modern things you can get. This is just simple fun. It's just excellent. I'll tell you another mechanical set I always wanted to own, but I never got round to having it. And maybe one day if I build another layout ever, I might do it. 1978-79, the Hornby accessory range featured this iron ore tipper set where you could go up onto a gantry with a wagon and you can drop the iron ore material through a slot in the rail, have it picked up below, I think, and it was quite ingenious. But this is probably the most popular mechanical accessory that Hornby ever designed. This goes back to the days of Hornby 003 rail. Back in the days of Meccano train sets, so certainly Hornby 003 rail. they came out with the TPO set, and this was evolved into what it is now. So it's a very simple mechanism. Obviously you've got the collection post there. I added on those steps from an old signal box to make it more accessible, because obviously the operators that go and physically hang the mailbags on the hook got to get up there to do it. The ramp in the forefoot is a spring-loaded ramp affair with a piece of brass copper strip underneath it. It acts as a spring which hits the shoe for that side, opens the door to collect it. And then over here, where the collection bin is, there's another ramp, exactly the same mechanism. It's sprung loaded with a piece of copper strip underneath, acts like a spring, and it's on this side for the shoe to empty it. And underneath the train there's two shoes, one for the outside, one for the pickup, one for the release. So like so. And then what you do when you're finished, you tip it out like that without causing a derailment. Pick up your mailbags like so, and then you can do it all again. Okay, guess what I found? I found all those mailbags that I was talking about just in time as well. So I've got a Lima Class 50 Eagle on the front there, a Hornby Intercity liveried TPO coach with some Intercity coaches from Hornby behind it as well. Right, let's put one of them on there like that. This one will give it the beams a little bit. This is a 50. Gosh. Do you reckon we can do the whole bag? There's a lot there. I've actually attempted that, and what happens is the receptacle bin over there, it gets so full it spills out onto the track, and obviously you can imagine the potential for derailment. So we'll do a few. Oh, that didn't pick it up. Oh dear, oh dear. Sometimes you have to tweak it a little bit and just... Let's try again, shall we? No, it didn't do it again. Oh no. Disaster. Let's try and put it that way. So, you know what I was saying earlier on about these TPO coaches can be temperamental. That one got it, you see. All because I had to alter the angle of the hook. As opposed to 6 o'clock, I gave it about 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock-ish. And it was all right now, so. I just heard a click, I just dropped it off as well. And I've just dropped it on the floor, so off camera I'll get it, and I'll put a second one on there. Oh, it didn't like that one at all. Maybe that was a letter for number 10 in that in that mailbag. Dear Mr. Starmer. Oh, that one was for Nigel Farage. That was all right. I picked it up. Get in there. It's not liking that mailbag too much. I think the reason why it might be going a bit too fast. Let's just slow it down a bit. Yeah, I think that was where we were going wrong a little bit. That's still a sensible speed, I think, coming round there. Yeah, that's more like scale speed. I should really practice what I preach, shouldn't I? And that slowed down over there for some reason because my Class 50 doesn't like that TPO ramp. Alright, okay. Right, now we've got the Stratford Class 47 in charge of this TPO train, complete with silver roof and Union Jack. Very apt for today's march in central London, because we have had enough as Great Britain. Enough's enough. Right, there we go. This mailbag contains all the votes for Nigel Farage for the general election. There we go. And with that, I will see you soon in the next video. And I hope that you all stay safe and well, you like today's trains. And we'll see you definitely soon, as I mentioned, in the next video. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.